Welcome to Tabletop.exe, your patch notes for the world of digital board gaming. I'm Rob, aka Jesta ThaRogue, and together we'll see if a tabletop classic survives the digital download. Open the floodgates, it's time to see if Barrage holds water. And before we start, just so you know, a code of this game was provided to me by Cranio Creations, which is very kind of them, thank you very much. But it does mean that this video technically constitutes an advert. Those turbines don't spin themselves, let's break down the core mechanisms. In Barrage, players compete to generate power by damming rivers and diverting water through their power stations to convert the flow of water into energy. You'll build dams to block water, elevate them to store more water, construct conduits to redirect flow, and place powerhouses to generate electricity. Water flows from mountain sources each round and moves downstream, stopping at dams along the way. Generate enough energy and you'll complete contracts, score points, and unlock powerful bonuses. Blocking opponents, managing water flow, and building efficiently are all keys to staying ahead. The game plays over 5 rounds with end of round scoring and objectives to chase, and the player with the most points wins. We built the dam, now let's see how the digital version lets the gameplay flow. The first thing I noticed when we got into the game is there were 4 promos to add in when I started the game. I wasn't expecting that, that's pretty cool. And other things, when I went into the game, quite a few times I had to exit the game completely to go back into it so I could actually click to start a game. I don't know what was wrong there, the continue button wasn't working. Also, I do notice, and this is quite a big one, you can't seem to change the difficulty anywhere. You've got the up to 3 bot players you can play against if you're playing solo, and you can't change the difficulty to make them either all really hard or really easy. And you can't really add, some easy, some hard, so there's a bit of competition, widespread. You can't seem to be able to do that. But when playing, you can clearly see what the bot players are doing. It does look just like the board game, so when you're looking at the screen, you can see the game, and you can look at it like it is a board game. You can see the water, see the dams, you know where the water will go. You can see where players have conduits and dams and powerhouses, so you know what's going to happen when the water flows. You can see which actions have been taken by the other players. You can see your resources very easily. You can see your wheel really well, so you know what's on it, and you can tell when the excavators and cement mixers on that wheel are going to be available to you again, as well as those actions on the wheel, of course. And then just clicking on a space on the digital board just feels like you're placing workers, so I think it does a really good job of reflecting the board game in the digital world. Does the tutorial hold back confusion or flood you with it? So I've only played Barrage once in 2019, so in 6 years I did need a rules refresher. The tutorial is long and slow, but it is a complex game, so there's a lot to get through, lots of different sections. It takes a while. Now what I do appreciate is the box bounces around the screen, so the text box that you're reading is next to the point you're going to talk about. So instead of just having the box in the middle and then pointing to something up here, so you're reading this, and then you're looking up here, then you're reading that, and then you're looking down there. I like that the box moves, so you're only looking in one place at a time. I found that very helpful. But it is very long and very boring. Now what I did is Cranio Creations themselves have a 6-minute explainer video. It's far from comprehensive, but it is of the board game, and if you watch this, only 6 minutes, it'll give you a nice overview, and I think it's enough that you can go straight into the game if you're experienced enough with Euro games and worker placement games. You can go into the game using your knowledge from that 6-minute video and sort of work it out as you go, and then you can let's get the rules down and how the game flows, literally how the game flows, and then later on you can start to work on strategy and stuff. So that's what I did, and it worked well for me, so that's what I'm recommending to you. Barrage is a brutal fight for resources, but how well does that tension translate online? No idea. So you play 1 player locally, you can play against up to 3 bots, 2, 3 or 4 bots. You can play 4 players online. Now I don't know if it's not working or whether there are no players available, but I wasn't able to try an online game, so I don't know how well it works, unfortunately. I don't know if it's just the lack of players or whether the game system's broke online, I don't know, but wasn't able to try it, sadly. Time to look at the digital design. Is it an industrial elegance or visual gridlock? And the menu, it gave me flashbacks to Beneath a Steel Sky, which is a game on the Amiga from years ago, from 1994. And actually when you look at Beneath the Steel Sky, that game actually looks better from over 30 years ago. Doesn't say the name of the game on the menu either. It looks like there's a big box missing where the Barrage.png should be. It's to show that this is the game that you're playing. There's just this big wide open space that's there for no reason. I'm not sure if they have the right to use the board game box. The board game box looks really pretty. I really like the box. It gives that sort of industrial construction feel to it, and it looks really nice. I don't know why they didn't just use that art. I don't know whether they didn't have the rights or whether it didn't look nice or they couldn't stretch it out or whatever, but what they've got there isn't as nice as what they have on the tabletop. I also thought this board was called the Flips for far too long than it took me to work out it was the Alps, but there you go. Just don't question me on that one. But moving on to the really important things, you can see what players have. Even when you're playing 4 player and the other 3 players are all crammed down that right hand side, You can see what they've got, you can see what resources they've got, you can see where their actions are, you know what they have and what they'll be able to do. It's even easier to obviously to see that than it is to look at the other players around the table when you're playing the physical game. Spaces are highlighted in the player colour so you know who went there and who took the action. And once you've clicked on a box and confirmed the action, it will fizzle in that player's colour with electricity around the outside of it. That slowly fizzles down over time, so you can see which actions have been taken more recently at the other one, which is really good. And of course you can see all the gameplay elements, which is what you want. But even though it is functional, it does look old and basic, and I would like to have seen more video gamey elements put into the game. For example, this is the water splashing down. That could have been much more fun, but it's just basic. Does the interface let the water flow, or does it dam up your experience? So you have to click the pencil under your name to change player colour. I didn't know that, there was no purple. I don't know why there is no purple. I don't know why in digital games they don't let you select colours that would fit the game but also that aren't in the box, because then you can select any colour you want. It would also help people who visually need the different colours to distinguish them on the board to help them out a bit. And it shouldn't take much to just convert all the pieces into different colours and let you choose from all different ones, but they didn't do that, that's fine. You can hover over most of the stuff for an info box to pop up so you know what you're looking at. You can't do it for the action spaces for some reason, so if you want to know what the action space does and you can't remember, you need to click on it as if you're taking the action, then it'll pop up the box telling you what you need to do, and then you just click cancel instead of confirming, which is a bit annoying, especially at the beginning when you're learning the game. Once you know what all the actions do, then you don't need that anymore, but when you're learning, when you need it, it's just not very helpful to not have it there. There's not much else to say other than it just does a really good job. You can see all the costs, you can see everything, it's fine. Do the audio cues deliver the hum of hydroelectric power, or fall flat like a dry canal? There is very minimal sort of ambient music, the kind of thing you'll find on YouTube when you search in the free music library. If you search for ambient and dark, you get this kind of, it's got this like boom, 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 this 80s synth style. And I think the boom, boom, boom is a bit like representing the construction and the industrial feel to it, a bit like the end of Avengers Endgame, or like Iron Man where you hear Tony Stark hitting the hammer, that sort of thing. It sort of has that feel to it. The sound effects are basic and they don't really let you know what's going on too much. You hear the crank when somebody's wheel's turning, and there's some clicks and clacks for other things, but that's pretty much it. They're really missing out not having a buzz when electricity is generated, or like a boom when something's been constructed, and not even the water makes a rushing noise when it's flowing down the river, which is, I think it's a mistake to leave that out. So it's all a bit lackluster. There is a bell to let you know when it's your turn, which I appreciate, but I would like it so that you could turn off the sound and music and just keep that bell on, because I'd like to play games while I'm watching telly. So yeah, it does sound old and basic, but again, it is functional, and like I said, I don't really have the sound on when I'm playing these games anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. It's just, it could have been much better. High voltage or power outage? Let's log the best and worst of Barrage. So I only have two positives, but those positives are that they reflect the physical game really well, and it's easy to play and understand the state of the game. Now, there's only two positives, but that pretty much encompasses everything to say that this is a good digital implementation. You can't really say much more than that. I've already gone into the detail of all the individual reasons why I think it's a good implementation, but they are the reasons that I think this is a good game. But there are some downsides I'm just going to list off. You can't set the bot difficulty, like I said. The tutorial is long and dull. I can imagine non-board gamers and people who don't know how to play this board game in the real world will probably give up, I think. I don't think people will spend too much time trying to figure it out. If people who are board gamers may go onto Board Game Geek and find a video of the physical game like I did, but people who are video gamers who looked at this and thought, oh yeah, I'll give that a try, I think they will probably give up. The game feels old already, even though it's only a month old at this point, and the multiplayer is possibly non-existent. Having said that, if I wanted to play multiplayer, I would buy the physical game anyway. Let's compare the manual labour to the machine. Is Digital Barrage a worthy blueprint? So even though it was a long time ago, I remember it being kind of fiddly with the wheel when I was moving with the action and all the different excavators and the cement mixers in the wheel. I remember that being difficult to move, and some things were flipping over and pinging all over the place. I didn't really enjoy that experience because it was a bit fiddly. There's also lots of workers. You've got like 10, 11 workers that you need to recover at the end of every round, depending on the player count, I think. So there's loads of little things to do, so it is a bit fiddly. So for playing solo, I think this is a much better version. Unless you really want those pieces and you're really somebody who really likes to play a tabletop game more than a video game, then obviously the board game will be better for you. You can start a game much quicker, and by the time you're setting one up here, you could have played a lot of the game before you've set up. It only took me just over an hour, I think it was, to play a game earlier, and I think it's going to take you about maybe 20 minutes to set a game up, so you're well into a game before you even set up the physical game. Then you've got to look at the price. The cheapest I've found Barrage online in the UK is £59, including delivery. Currently on Steam it's just under £13, so it is much cheaper as well, unless you really want that physical component, or you really want to play multiplayer, which then you need to buy the physical game. But if not, if you just want to play the game, you want to play it solo, then the Steam version does a really good job. Final verdicts: do we keep the turbines running or shut down the whole grid? Well, I got truly trounced in my first game. I was just getting to know the rules, and I was just basically playing the game off vibes and distant memories of the one time I did play it. And then I watched that Cranio Creations video and I came back and I did much better with a solid 3rd place. I was very proud of that. But what it has got me done, it has got me wanting to get better at the game. So I have a friend who has this and plays it a lot. And because he plays it a lot, if I go into that game, I'm just going to get trounced. And in a game like this, where people stealing water from you, they know how to divert water away from your power station so that you can't score points. That's going to be very frustrating playing with experienced players. So I could play this a few times, get the hang of it, get some strategy down, get some tactics, and then I can feel that I could maybe join that game and maybe compete. Maybe I probably won't win, but at least I'll be able to compete and not feel like I'm just wasting my time building a dam here when they're just going to build another one here, divert the water away from it, and wasted all of my time. So I'm going to do that. I am going to keep it for now. And I was going to say that it's maybe just a bit too heavy for me to play, because I generally don't like heavy board games when I'm playing digitally, because as I said, I prefer to mute the game and watch TV on the other monitor, so I'm flicking back and forth between two. So I prefer lighter board games like Sagrada or Small World. But actually, after 2 plays, it was very straightforward. Because the board state is very obvious and you can see everything really well, I can take my turn, watch a bit of telly, oh, it's my go, look what I need to do, and I know where I am. Maybe not the greatest thing for strategy, because maybe I am forgetting some things and what maybe I should do, but other than that, it's a very solid game, so I'm going to keep it in my Steam library for now, play it a few more times, then maybe move on to daring to play it with my friends in real life. But anyway, what do you think of this game? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like, share and subscribe for regular board game reviews, top 10s and how to plays. I'll be Rob, aka JestaThaRogue. I'll see you soon.